Hello, check. All right, people. I believe we are finally live. Yes, welcome back to The Alchemist by An Academy. My name is Pahul. And if I'm audible and visible, please write you in the chat box. You know exactly what to do. Yes. और बताओ दोस्तों, क्या हाल चाल सब बढ़िया? All going good? Yes. So, people, today we are starting a new chapter. And that's the chapter of the mole concept. And this is one of the most important chapters because it tells you about the very basics of physical chemistry. Yeah, tells you about the very basics of physical chemistry. And the way we will deal with this chapter is it's going to be very practical. Yeah, we are not going to deal with this chapter in a formula based manner. ऐसा नहीं कि formula ही रटते रहेंगे. Okay, we will not do that. We will look at different questions. This is essentially going to be a huge question solving chapter with a little bit of theory in the middle, of course. Yeah. So slowly and steadily, we'll get to questions as well. My dear friends, before we start this particular chapter, let me tell you that the classes for this chapter will happen on Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 7 p.m. on YouTube over here. So you can subscribe to this channel or you can simply come to this channel yeah, at the required time. Okay, fine. You can do whatever you feel like. Now people, before I start the class, there are a few pieces of announcement that I have to make. First announcement is that there is a combat scholarship test that Unacademy runs. Okay, it's called the Unacademy Combat Scholarship Test. And the beauty of this test is that it is there for everyone. Yeah, whoever wants to prepare for IIT, whether you're in 11th class or 12th class or dropper, you can take this particular examination. It's a scholarship exam. So if you win a scholarship, you'll be able to, well, enroll into Plus subscription, okay, with much better offers, fine. Otherwise, if you don't want Plus subscription, you're like, sir, what's the benefit? Then of course, you'll be able to solve more questions and you'll be able to win these exciting gifts. Yeah, so you can win an iPad or a Fitbit or JBL if you enroll in it, yeah, lucky prizes. So to enroll in it for free, the code that you have to use is PAHUL, Pahul, okay. Then talking about the Unacademy's Plus subscription, people, this is literally the best online teaching subscription that you can take. Because at Unacademy Plus, we have lots and lots of teachers, okay? Infinite number of teachers actually. And you can learn from any teacher you want if you're enrolled in the Plus subscription. It's not like we'll take you and throw you into batch. No. We will tell you wherever you want to go, you go and study. We'll suggest batches for you, of course, but you can study from any teacher you want. Fine. Along with the courses of the teacher, you will get daily practice problem sheets. You will also get assignments. You will also get weekly tests. Yeah. So all the benefits of a coaching and the freedom to learn from any teacher plus subscription. So if you enroll for 12 months, the cost is less than 3,000 a month, which is a very good value for money deal. So in case you want to enroll in it and if you want a good price, then Pahul is the code you use for the best possible price. Okay, maximum discount mil jayega. And there is one more thing called the Iconic subscription, which adds on to Plus. Okay, you have all the benefits of Plus and you have a personal mentor. You have test analysis done for you. You have experts guidelines given to you. Yeah, you have study planner, study material. So lot more given to you in the Iconic subscription. Essentially, it's like a more personalized version of Plus. And these are the prices. You can check them out. Again, for the best possible offer, you use the code PAHUL. As simple as that. Fine. This offer. Did you take this offer? No? Don't worry. We'll bring that offer once again. That was about, Iconic subscription by getting notes at your doorstep. Fine. So that was the offer running last month. We have lots of different offers that keep on coming. So I'll keep announcing them in these classes as well. Fine. And these are a few upcoming batches of June. Already started. Yeah. क्योंकि अब जुलाई हो चुका है. So these have just started, people. 30th June वाले batch. So if you enroll into Plus subscription, these are the suggestions for you to be able to join. Fine. Chalo ji. And one more last thing is Bugs Bounty. If you find anything inappropriate in a video, then you can report it. Again, the link is in the description box down below. You can take a screenshot at any point of time you want. Chalo ji. Let's get into the chapter of mole concept. Now, before we get into the questions of today's class, as I told you, it's going to be a question solving series essentially. My question to you is, okay, I'll ask you a question first. My question is, let's say someone asks you, what is your height? Someone asks you, what is your height? What do you say? How do you reply? Some people will reply, what do you want to do with my height? I have big heart, no? I don't want that reply, sorry. What I want from you is how will you reply if you're actually going to tell them the height? Yeah? 5 foot 5 inches, 5 feet 10 inches, 6 feet 1 inches, etc. etc. Yeah? Feet and inches generally. If you're fancy and you want to follow the metric system properly like we should, yeah, standard international sort of a system, then you would answer it in centimeters, 180 centimeters, 170 centimeters, etc. etc. Yash over here is 170 meters tall. Yash. I'm damn sure you're breaking some records over there, bro. So anyway, what you say is you give the height in either centimeters or in feet and inches. Yeah. Hardly you mention it in meters. Okay, meters में भी चलता है 1.6 meter, 1.8 meter. That is also fine. Yeah. But have you ever heard anyone, bro, what's your height? Bro, my height is 0.03 kilometers. Have you ever heard that? My height is 0.0012 kilometers, bro. I'm pretty sure you've never heard that, right? Why so? Because it's absurd. Depending on the kind of amount we are talking about, we have different units. Yeah, अपनी height kilometer में बताने का तो कोई there will be some people who will tell their height in light years. If you find them, then understand you're not living in this world, you're dreaming, wake up. So the point I'm trying to make over here is that depending on the kind of substance you have, depending on the kind of physical quantity that you want to mention, you choose different scales, different units. Yeah. For height, we have chosen essentially two different scales. One is the scale in which we are talking about in feet and inches, yeah, 6 feet 1 inch, 5 feet 10 inch, etc. The other scale is where we talk about it in centimeters. Both scales are entirely different, but they convey the same information and depends on your choice what you want to choose for telling your height. Now, my question to you is, okay, if I ask you the mass of one atom, yeah, if I ask you the mass of one atom, let's say atom of hydrogen or helium or carbon, whatever, will I answer this in kilograms ever? I can, but it's too tedious, isn't it? It's a bit much to talk about the mass of one atom in kilograms. Yeah, I can do that. Mass of one hydrogen atom, I can say that it's somewhere around 1.6 into 10 to the power 24 kilograms or something. Yeah. But the point is, 10 to the power 27. Yeah. But the point is that it doesn't make a lot of sense. What we should use is a newer unit. Isn't it? What we should use is a newer unit. And of course, you guys have studied about it in your earlier classes as well. We call it the atomic mass unit. Yeah, we call it the atomic mass unit. Now, I want your answer in yes or no. Do you understand what we mean by relative mass? Do you understand what's the meaning of relative mass? किसी को समझ आता है? And everyone who's new to my channel, welcome to The Alchemist. Quick information for you, you have to make your own notes. Yeah, I don't believe in sharing or giving you PDFs. If I've ever done that, it's just because of a little bit of pressure from somewhere or the other. But trust me, you make your own notes, you'll be better off. Okay. Relative mass, as a lot of people are saying, Muhammad Salman is saying mass relative to something else. Absolutely correct. Vineet is saying in terms of some particular thing. Absolutely correct. Mass in relation to something. Money is saying, yes, that is correct. Yeah. The idea behind relative mass is, let's try to define something. Okay. Let's try to define something that, okay, say my weight is 80 kgs. Okay? My weight is 80 kg. Fine. I ask some of you what's your weight. So some of you, this is my weight. Okay. P bole to, my weight is 80 kg. Fine. Now if I ask you what's your weight, then person A will say, sir, my weight is 40 kilogram. Okay, great. Person B will say, sir, my weight is 120 kilogram. Okay, great. Person C will say, sir, my weight is 160 kilogram. So on and so forth. You keep on going, yeah? What I say is, I want to sound fancy. I want to make this a new thing. I say that instead of saying 80 kgs, I will simply call it 1 Pahul unit of mass. Very nice. Why am I doing this? No reason. Just want to do it. Yeah. So I say that my weight is 1 Pahul unit. Fine. So according to this unit, yeah, if I've said that I am 1 Pahul unit of mass, according to my new unit, I can define the mass of other species as well, isn't it? I can define the mass of this guy as half a Pahul unit. I can define this as 1.5 Pahul unit. I can define this as 2 Pahul units. What I've done is I have taken one of these numbers, one of these quantities, and made that the new normal. Now everything else that I am saying, every other mass that I am naming, is relative to this mass, isn't it? Arjun, no, not today, man. We'll continue that from Monday. Yeah. Galileo, you would rather solve more questions, man. That's a better use of your time. Understood, people? Sarthak, yo, what's up, bro? Stoichiometry will be from the next class onwards, Kavita. Yeah, so next week, Monday, Wednesday and Friday, we'll start stoichiometry. Okay. Okay. So now you understand the idea of relative mass. We are defining the mass of these guys with respect to this guy, relative to this guy. So when we choose a new standard, we say that it's relative mass. We've chosen a new unit over here, relative to this guy. Fine? Okay. This is understood. So let me tell you that the atomic mass unit, AMU, is also relative mass. The atomic mass unit is also relative mass. Relative to what now? Huh? Relative to what now? Batao. I have explained to you the idea behind relative mass, that we will take one guy and we will say that, okay, you are 1 unit now. Similarly, the atomic mass unit is also relative to what? What is the standard that we are taking? Who did we pick and say, okay, you are 1 unit now? Can you tell me? Now, Joker is saying it was relative to the weight of hydrogen. Joker, you are partially correct. So, people, this idea has developed throughout history. This idea has developed throughout history. One atomic mass unit in very early days of science, defined by William Prout. I think that was the name of the scientist. He said that one hydrogen's mass, okay, so I'll write over here, mass of one hydrogen atom will be called 1 atomic mass unit. This is the most primitive definition. This was given by William Prout. But this didn't catch on a lot. Then the next standard that people started defining was mass of one oxygen atom divided by 16 is equal to 1 atomic mass unit. This was the definition of atomic mass unit for some time. But you know what happened? In science, chemists and physicists have always been divided. They have not really been together in a lot of cases. So what chemists did was, chemists took the average atomic mass of oxygen, divided that by 12 to give 1 atomic mass unit. Okay, oxygen, if you take a sample from nature, it will have oxygen 16, oxygen 17, oxygen 18, different isotopes. Yeah, so you take the average mass of those isotopes in grams, then divide that by 16, and then you get 1 atomic mass unit. Physicists, on the other hand, said that no, we will not take the average of 3 isotopes, we'll take only 1 isotope. So physicists were like, we'll take only the mass of the oxygen 16 atom, divide that by 16, call that new thing the atomic mass unit. Oh. So eventually, after a lot of conferences, after a lot of discussions, when the world decided to boil down on a standard, they ultimately chose a standard They ultimately chose a standard which made sense. They were like, okay, forget about history, we'll choose a new standard. The new standard is mass of a carbon 12 atom divided by 12. This particular number is essentially what we call one atomic mass unit. One atomic mass unit is defined as the mass of a carbon 12 atom divided by 12. Now, Afnan is asking, sir, why? Dekho. First thing is, it is just a convention. People, do you remember the meaning of the word convention? Yeah? Do you remember the meaning of the word convention? Convention bole to is just something that everyone agrees on. It's just something that everyone said that, okay, we have had lots of chaos in the history, hydrogen, oxygen, this, that, let's just choose carbon as the standard and everyone will agree on it. There was a huge conference, everyone's like, okay, theek hai, this is fine, great. Second, carbon is very easy to find in nature. Carbon's pure forms are very easy to isolate. For example, hydrogen's pure form is a little difficult to isolate. Yeah, it's there, but it exists in a gaseous state. Now, measuring the mass of gaseous, compounds is a little more difficult. You would rather have something that's solid. You keep it on a weighing scale and measure it. Getting the idea? Yeah. Oxygen, on the other hand, it's abundant in nature. We have a form where it's pure, but again, that's gaseous. Carbon's pure forms are easily available as solids. Graphite, diamond. We could do lots of spectroscopy experiments on it very easily. We could even do X-ray crystallography on it, etc., etc. So, just all the factors combined together, it's easy to measure the mass of one carbon atom in grams. Okay, it's easy to measure the mass of one carbon atom in grams. It's easy to isolate a C12 atom. It's abundant in nature. It's present in its pure form as solid, etc., etc. So there are multiple reasons, but the main reason is that it's just a convention. Yeah. In a parallel universe, the convention might just be this one. In a parallel universe, they might be taking the mass of calcium. I don't know. Okay. So, since carbon 12 isotope is quite abundant compared to carbon 13 or carbon 14 isotopes, this makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Otherwise, the main idea is just a convention. Yeah. Fine. Great Guru Singh, sir, I think NCERT is waste book for mole concept chapter. You are absolutely wrong, my dear friend. Yeah. The first chapter of NCERT is very beautifully written. You should definitely read it out. You might think it's waste. It's just because you weren't able to understand what's written over there. To be very honest with you, read it again. You will realize it's written very well. It's written in a concise manner. Okay. Vineet is saying, why not the mass of 24 protons? That's essentially what they are doing, isn't it? That's almost what they are doing over here. 6 protons plus 6 neutrons divided by 12. So that's the mass of almost 1 proton. And since all the atoms are made up of protons and neutrons, this is approximately the mass of 1 proton, isn't it? So yeah, the choice is logical. Okay, this choice of dividing by 12 is very logical. Did you understand what I said? Why did we divide by 12? Because carbon has 6 protons and 6 neutrons in it. Yeah, carbon 12 has 6 protons, 6 neutrons in it. Everything else is made up of just protons and neutrons. Mass of proton and neutron is almost the same. So if I get a unit which is close to the mass of 1 proton, I can use that everywhere because everything else is just made of protons and neutrons. That's why. Cool. So everything is logical. No need to fret too much about it. So now let's try to look at a few numbers as well. Okay, so yeah, just a little bit of history if you want to read. I took the screenshot from Wikipedia itself. That in the 20th century until 1960s, chemists and physicists used 2 different atomic mass scales. Wow. The chemists used an atomic mass unit scale such that a natural mixture of oxygen isotopes had an atomic mass 16, while the physicists assigned the same to only one of the most common isotopes of oxygen, that is oxygen 16. Okay? So on and so forth. This is the exact story that I told you a while back. So in case you want to read it, you can go to Wikipedia, read the entire article, or just pause the video over here and read this screenshot. A little bit about history. Yeah. We'll talk about chocolates in a little while, but this is the mass of carbon atom in grams. You can note this value down, please. We'll come to the rest of the calculations in some time. Please note this down. Mass of one carbon 12 atom in grams is equal to 1.9926465547. You don't need to remember this value, into 10 to the power minus 23 grams. Okay. So one atomic mass unit, these days it's called 1 Dalton unit. Instead of calling it 1 atomic mass unit, AMU is not used anymore. We call it 1 Dalton. That 1 Dalton is defined as the mass of carbon 12 atom divided by 12, as I just told you. And that comes out to be this in grams. So one atomic mass unit in grams is equal to this. First two things over here, please note it down. Rest of the two things we'll define in a little while. Virendra is saying it is called unified mass. Yes, it is called unified mass as well. Afnan is asking, is stoichiometry important for boards? Yes, it is important for boards. Stoichiometry is one of the most important parts of this particular chapter. We'll come to that and we'll study that in a very good manner. Fine. Done. So once you've written it down, write done in the chat box. I will move back and I will teach you more about what is the definition of 1 mole. Santvana, try to cover the entire chapter if you can, okay? Otherwise, not a lot of ideas are directly related. You should know how to write the electronic configuration and you should know the shapes of orbitals. That's what's important. Apex, I'm glad you enjoy my classes, man. Mani is saying, how many questions come from mole concept? Directly, very less. Indirectly, almost all of physical chemistry is related to this chapter. Okay, Fanindra is asking how many sessions will it take to complete this chapter? I am estimating somewhere around 7 to 8 sessions, depending on the speed, okay? Chalo ji, I hope you've written it down. Lots of people have written done in the chat box. Very good to see that. Now, let's talk about chocolates, because who doesn't love chocolates, yeah? I mean, there are people who don't love chocolate, so please don't, please don't start pointing out that, sir, I do not like chocolate. I know. But still we'll talk about chocolates for now. My dear friends, 1 chocolate is equal to, let's say, 1 gram. बहुत छोटू सा chocolate है, खा के पता भी नहीं लगेगा chocolate खाया. You won't even realize you ate a chocolate. It's such a small chocolate, yeah? 1 gram chocolate. Chalo, just so that you enjoy eating the chocolate, let's say it's a 10 gram chocolate. A little better. Yeah? And now, my dear friends, I have a box of chocolates. Okay, I have a very nice box of chocolates. Yeah, have you seen such a beautiful box ever in your life earlier? I'm pretty sure you haven't. So this box of chocolates, okay, I do not know how many chocolates are there in this box. Okay, someone gave me a box of chocolates. I just know that 1 chocolate is 10 grams. Yeah, so I need to find out how many chocolates are there in the box, but I don't have the patience to count those. So what I do is, I go to my kitchen, I take out my weighing scale that I use for my food at times, yeah, and I put this box on it. I realize that this box is 1 kilogram. Okay, cool. So now can you tell me how many chocolates are there in this box? How many chocolates are there in this box? Total weight, that is 1000 grams, divided by weight of 1 chocolate, that is 10 gram. Kitna aa jayega answer? This box has 100 chocolates. People, if you are able to come to this number, congratulations, you understood the mole concept. High five, take care, thank you so much. Subscribe, like, share, comment, do whatever you want. Yes, we are done. If you understand this calculation, okay, assume that the box is massless. Now you guys are bringing all sorts of realistic things. Okay, assume the box and the wrapper are massless, like we always do in physics. Pulleys are massless. But anyway, you get the idea? Yeah. What have we done over here? We've simply used something called the unitary method over here. Have you studied unitary method in your earlier classes? Huh? Something, divide those things, get something new. Very simple idea. So if you understand this, you understand the entire chapter of mole concept. It's just that the information will not be this simple. The information will be a little more cryptic in nature. Yeah, the word that I just used was cryptic. When you attend my classes, you will not only learn chemistry, you will learn a lot of English as well. So the meaning of the word cryptic is something that's a little more encoded. Yeah, something that's like a password. You need to remove its encryption. You need to decrypt it in order to be able to understand. Yeah, you can do a Google search on it if you still didn't understand the meaning. Fine. So the information in this chapter is a little more cryptic because it will be given in terms of atoms and molecules and things reacting with each other, etc., etc. So that will hide the real number. You will need to know a little bit more chemistry to come to the real number. Ultimately, once you have the numbers, this is the kind of calculation you want to do with those numbers. Fine? Okay? And now, one fine day, let's say Yash comes to my house and Yash is like, sir, I love your teaching. I'm going to gift you lots of boxes of chocolates. I'm like, bro, thank you so much. Let us say Yash comes and gifts me a lot of boxes of chocolate. Okay, so Yash has given me 297 boxes of chocolate. I don't know why, but this number. Yeah. Now, if I have to talk about the mass of the entire thing, yeah. If I have to talk about the mass of the entire thing, should I talk about it in grams? Does it make sense? Is it convenient for me to talk about the mass of 297 boxes of chocolate in grams? Should I say 297,000 grams of chocolate, or should I say 2.9 into 10 to the power 5 grams of? A little difficult to talk about it in this manner. If I can deal with kilograms, that's the mass of one box. Yeah. What I want to think of eventually is how many chocolates I have. Yeah. What I want to think of eventually is how many chocolates I have. I have a chocolate that is 10 grams. But talking about the box and the mass of the boxes in terms of grams, it's a little difficult. Yeah. Even if it gives me a direct idea of how many chocolates are there, it's a little difficult to think about it. So instead, we will define a new unit, so to speak, which is a cluster of chocolates, which is one box, mass of one box. Okay, fine. So yahan pe, if I talk about it in terms of kilograms, it's easier for me to understand. Yeah, 297 kilograms. So instead of thinking about one chocolate's mass, I'm thinking about the mass of a box of chocolates. Just makes dealing with bigger numbers easier. What have we done till now? Let me revise for you. We've understood how the atomic mass unit is defined, and we've understood that atomic mass unit, mole concept, is just a unitary method, made a little more fancy, made a little more cryptic. We will talk about atoms in terms of their atomic mass. Okay, we will talk about atoms in terms of their atomic mass. But generally, in the world, we don't deal with just one atom. We deal with a lot of atoms together, a box of atoms. Yeah, a bottle of water which has infinite number of atoms in it. Yeah, lots of atoms in it. So the thing is, instead of talking about atoms in terms of their atomic mass units, we won't do that all the time. Most of the time, we will deal with the mass of lots of atoms, and we will talk about the mass in grams itself. We will talk about the mass of this cluster of atoms in grams itself. Fine. Ishrat is saying, why don't you speak in Hindi? भाई ऐसा है कि हिंदी में बाकी बहुत सारे टीचर पढ़ा रहे हैं अकेडमी पे, तो अब कोई तो होना चाहिए ना अंग्रेजी में पढ़ाने वाला भी. That's the only reason, bro. Fine. So ये अपन ने समझ लिया about chocolates. Now instead of chocolates, let's talk about carbon. Let's talk about carbon now. Carbon के लिए क्या बोलेंगे अपन? That we take a carbon 12 atom. This is equal to how much? This is 12 atomic mass units. This is 12 atomic mass units. Now, my dear friends, what I do is I give you a box of carbon atoms. Okay. Once again, a very beautiful box, never seen before in your life. This box of carbon atoms is now 12 grams. Again, neglect the mass of the box itself. Assume that the box is massless. You just have to worry about the mass of carbon in it. Yeah. So this is a box of carbon atoms. Yeah. Inside this box, there are lots of carbon atoms, and the total weight of them is 12 grams. Fine. Okay. Do you see what I'm doing over here? Mass of one atom is 12 atomic mass units. Mass of one box is 12 grams. Do you see the number similarity over here? One atom, atomic mass units, one box is 12 grams. I want to find the number of atoms of carbon inside this box. Number of carbon atoms in the box is equal to, this will be equal to the total weight of the box divided by mass of one carbon atom. Yeah. How would I do that? I can simply write 12 atomic mass units. But people, can I divide two quantities with different units? No. I should not divide two things with different units. So what should I do over here? You already know what's the atomic mass unit in grams. You already have written that down, that piece of information down. What's the mass of one carbon atom in grams? Yeah. Just write the mass of one carbon atom in grams over here. What's the number, people? Can you tell me quickly in the chat box? I have just made you write that down 2 slides back. Yeah. Can you quickly tell me what's the mass of one carbon atom in grams? अभी लिखा था थोड़ी देर पहले, isn't it? 1.99 something something, yes? 1.992 something something into 10 raised to the power how much? Minus 24. That's the number. 24 ki 23? 23, yes. Thank you so much. Whoever has noted this down, very good job. Whoever did not note it down, who was giving me guesses in the chat box, please start making notes now. Okay, fine. So number of carbon atoms in the box kitna aa jayega? What will this come out to be? This will be approximately, yeah, this number, if you calculate, this will be approximately 6 into 10 to the power 23. Approximately, okay? I will give you the exact value, don't worry. Inside this box, there are these many carbon atoms. Huh? There are these many carbon atoms. My dear friends, can I say that this box has 6 into 10 to the power 23 into 12 nucleons? Do you know the meaning of the word nucleons? Nucleon means proton and neutron. Okay? Anything that lives inside the nucleus is essentially proton and neutron. Can I say that in this box there are these many carbon atoms? Yes, I can, because I've done the calculation. Since each and every carbon atom has 12 nucleons in it, this is also something that I can say. You've got this many nucleons in the box. Very nice. Keep this in your mind, okay? Now a few revelations. So the number that we've just calculated, if you want the exact value to it, this is the value. 60221414107040. Too much. अक्षत डोंट वरी ब्रो, धीरे धीरे अपन रिएक्शंस भी करेंगे. बहुत सारे क्लासेस किए भी हैं मैंने रिएक्शंस वाले, उसमें आपको समझ आ जाएगा कैसे करना है. It's not that difficult, it's just about practicing the thing again and again. So, people, this number, saying this number again and again in its entirety is a little difficult. Yeah. So, what we can do is we can simply say 6.022 into 10 raised to the power 23. It's a better way of talking about this number. But again, if I am having a conversation with you, will I be like, bro, this box has 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atoms? It's essentially a tongue twister, isn't it? So what I would rather do is I would give this number a name. And that name is the Avogadro's number. Yeah, this is the name we give to this number. It's called the Avogadro's number. There was an Italian scientist, Amedeo Avogadro. Yes, I am. You will learn about a law in the chapter of states of matter, Avogadro's law. Okay, and he was a scientist. That guy did not discover this number, no. But whoever discovered this number, they were like, I will give it the name Avogadro in honor of Avogadro. Avogadro's number. It is also sometimes represented by a capital N and subscript A. Subscript बोले तो N के पैर में लिखा हुआ है. I have written A in the feet of N. Yeah, N subscript A. N stands for number. A stands for Avogadro. Number of Avogadro. So this is also represented by N subscript A, which is different from the symbol for sodium atom. These two are different. Okay. This is a subscript A, this is a small a. There's a difference. Fine. So this number is called the Avogadro's number, or Na, or 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. Whatever you want to call it, it's absolutely fine. Now, if I have 12 eggs, I say I have a dozen eggs. If I have 12 bananas, I will say I have a dozen bananas. Yeah. If I have 20 eggs, I will say I have a score of eggs. Yeah. If you guys don't know that, score is 20 of something. Score is 20 of something, right? So dozen is 12, score is 20. Similarly, 1 mole is this quantity. If I say I have 1 mole of chocolates, it means I have these many chocolates, which means that I can run an industry, I can sell chocolates for my entire life and earn a living out of it, and I will have diabetes, etc., etc. Yeah. Someone is asking, so are you seeing chat? Bro, yes, I am seeing the chat every now and then. I have only one pair of eyes, so I either can see the camera or the chat. Okay, so 1 mole of any quantity, okay, 1 mole of anything is this particular number. 1 mole of chocolates, I have these many chocolates. 1 mole of carbon atoms, I have these many carbon atoms. 1 mole of anything, I have this many number of that particular thing. This is what 1 mole is. I don't think it is difficult. And if you have found the class easy till now, good, because a lot of people find it difficult for some reason. Okay, Siddharth, yes, bro. That same person is asking, so will you take class 11th full syllabus? Yes, I'm doing that, bro. This is the second chapter of that. Okay. Sarthak, we'll come to questions, brother. Chill. We have to do theory first. Yeah, questions bhi aa jayenge, don't worry. The entire chapter is dedicated to questions, so we need to dive into a little bit of theory before we do that, right? So chalo, ye ho gaya. Now people, write this down, please. The first 2 pieces of information you've already written down. Please make sure you note these 2 as well. Number of carbon atoms in the box is this, and that is equal to 1 mole, which is also known as the Avogadro's number. If you have not written it down, write it down right now, and then we shall move forward. Love, of course they are, man, because I have made them. Roja, just try to ignore that as much as you can. Okay. Done, people? Kar liya? Chalo ji. Now, the mole concept. The mole concept is very simple. Once I tell you this concept, I will not teach it to you again. Then we'll solve questions. Are you ready? 1 carbon atom is equal to 12 atomic mass units. Yes, on the same lines, I can say that 1 mole carbon atoms Yeah. Now we know what mole is. Mole is just a number. Dozen carbon atoms means 12 carbon atoms. 1 mole carbon atoms means 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 carbon atoms. The weight of 1 mole of carbon atoms, as we just learnt, as we just derived, is 12 grams. Yeah, the box itself we took was 12 grams, and the number that came out of it, we called it 1 mole. So this is something that every one of us understands. Yeah, I can use this same idea for every atom, because every atom is made up of neutrons and protons, right? This is what? This is the mass of 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 into 12 nucleons. Everything is made up of nucleons. So I can use this funda for everything. Yeah. Mass of one hydrogen atom is equal to 1 atomic mass unit, or 1 Dalton. Yeah. Mass of 1 mole of hydrogen atoms, yeah, is equal to 1 gram. Very nice. 1 nitrogen atom, that will be equal to how much? 14 atomic mass units. 1 mole of nitrogen atoms will be equal to 14 grams. 1 O2 molecule. 1 O2 molecule, instead of taking an atom, let's take a molecule. This will be equal to 32 atomic mass units, or 32 Daltons. Yeah, atomic mass unit, Dalton, same thing. 1 mole of O2 molecules. Yeah, ये इसको क्या आ जाता पता नहीं. Molecules is equal to 32 grams. You keep going. This is the mole concept. As long as you know this, we are done. So whenever, people, last statement that I'm saying before solving questions, whenever we talk about mass in terms of atomic mass units or Daltons, we are talking about atoms or molecules. Whenever I say I have 24 atomic mass units of carbon, that means that I have 2 carbon atoms. Yeah. So whenever I am discussing mass in terms of AMU or Dalton, I am talking about in terms of atoms or molecules. But if I am talking about the mass in terms of grams, then I am talking about moles of molecules or moles of atoms. Yeah. Let's say I tell you I have 34 grams of nitrogen atoms in my hand. Yeah. Let us say I have 34 grams of nitrogen atoms in my hands. What does that mean? It means I have 2 into 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 number of nitrogen atoms. Okay. So Dalton, AMU related to atoms and molecules, grams related to moles of atoms and molecules. Very simple idea, sounds simple right now. When you do questions, you'll be a little bit confused, but I hope you're not, because we've discussed it in a bunch of detail now. Yeah. Shall we move on, people? Chalo, karte. First exercise. Calculate the number of atoms in each of the following samples. Okay. You have to calculate the number of atoms in each of the following samples. We'll do these exercises as quickly as we can. Next 15 minutes, we'll solve these type of questions. Okay. We'll solve these type of questions. Fine. 38, sorry. Sarthak, yeah. The number I said for nitrogen, I said 34. I meant 38. But you got the idea. Okay. Fine. So chalo, ye karte hain. 200 atomic mass units of helium. How will you calculate the number of atoms? Yeah. We'll calculate the number of atoms by doing given weight. Yeah. Given weight divided by weight of one helium atom. That's what we'll do. That's what we did for the box of chocolates as well. Yeah. So over here, this is 200 divided by, what's the mass of one helium atom? One helium atom's mass is 4 atomic mass units, or 4 Daltons. This comes out to be how much? 50 atoms. Very simple. Yeah. यहाँ पे कितना आ जाएगा? 3200 atomic mass units divided by 16 atomic mass units, isn't it? So how much does it come out to be? 200 atoms of oxygen, 46,000 AMU of sodium. So what will we do? 46,000, that is given weight, divided by the weight of one atom of sodium. That's how much? So कितना आ गया? 2,000 atoms. Was this exercise difficult? I hope not. Just take the given weight, divide by the atomic weight, take care of the units, you have the answer. Let's move on to the next question now. Calculate the number of atoms in each of the following samples. Now, instead of atomic mass units, we're talking about it in terms of grams. Gram kilogram ho gaya yahan pe to. Oh. It's become even more interesting now. Someone is asking, well, will you teach P block elements? Eventually. I don't have a timeline for that right now, brother. Okay, so 1600 grams of oxygen. Now what do? What I do over here is I do 1600 grams, that is the given weight, divided by the molar weight, not the atomic weight. Because dividing it with the atomic weight in grams is too much. Just divide it by the molar weight. What was the molar weight of oxygen? 16 grams per mole. Yeah. Once you do this calculation, what do you get? You have 100 moles of oxygen atoms. Yes. 100 moles of oxygen atoms. If I have to calculate the exact number, this will be 100 into 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atoms. Pretty clear? When we are talking about the mass in terms of grams or kilograms, we are talking about number of moles rather than number of molecules. Yeah, so 100 into the Avogadro number of atoms is present in this particular sample. Yeah, now rest is simple. 2.3 kilogram of sodium, this is 2300 grams divided by 23 grams per mole. So 100 moles once again. Fine. How much is this? Tell me, people, quickly in the chat box. Quickly tell me how many moles of sulfur do we have over here? Sarthak, yes, the number of atoms in this sample and the number of atoms in this sample is the same. Vineet, absolutely. Yeah, this comes out to be what? 1000 moles? 32 into 1000 divided by 32, 1000 moles, 1000 into the Avogadro number of atoms. So don't forget, atomic mass units, atoms or molecules, grams or kilograms, moles. As simple as that. That's all in this chapter essentially. Ye karte. Calculate the number of atoms in each of the following samples. First one says 52 moles of helium. They've already given us the number of moles, isn't it? They've already given us the number of moles. So 52 moles of helium is how much? 52 into, into 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atoms of helium. In the first case, they've already given us the number of moles. So just multiply that with the Avogadro number, you got the number of atoms. Great. Second case is 52U. What is U? U is just another way of writing atomic mass unit or Dalton. Sometimes we call it the unified mass. There are multiple names for it. Don't worry too much about the names. So 52 units, atomic mass units or 52 unified masses of helium. 52 AMU divided by 4 AMU per atom is equal to how much? Kitne atom aa gaye? 13 atoms. Very simple. Similarly over here, units, atoms, grams, moles. This will be 13 moles of helium. If I have to calculate the exact number of atoms, that will be 13 into 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atoms of helium. Simple, right? Devrayalu, you've asked me this question earlier as well. Yes, I do. Today at 8:15 we have the class of 12th students. Okay. Chalo ji, ye bhi ho gaya. Very simple. Done. we shall move on. ये अपन ने कर ही लिया. Just a reminder for you that this is what you have written down earlier. Now, let us do some more interesting questions. Okay, some more interesting questions we'll do, and we'll wrap up the class today. Next class on Monday, we'll do some more questions, and then we'll look a little bit into stoichiometry as well. Okay, so people who are asking for the schedule of my classes, let me tell you very quickly. On YouTube, for 11th class students, my classes happen on Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 7 p.m. And for 12th class students, my classes happen on Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 8:15 p.m. This is my schedule at YouTube. Everything else, just stay subscribed to the channel, you will get to know. I take some free classes on Unacademy. I take a paid course on Unacademy for organic chemistry. Yeah, I do some question solving classes on this channel on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I do all sorts of other stuff as well. So just stay subscribed, you will get to know. Okay, चलो ये हो गया. अब ये question करते हैं. Okay, let's do this question. After this question, the next question I will give you as a homework. Next question is even more interesting. RDX हितेश दोस्त हिंदी में बाकी बहुत सारे टीचर पढ़ा रहे हैं अनअकैडमी के, आप उनकी क्लासेस देख सकते हैं. अनअकैडमी जेईई चैनल पे भी हिंदी में पढ़ाया जाता है. तो जेई चैंपियंस करके एक चैनल है, वहां पे भी हिंदी में पढ़ाया जाता है. हिंदी के बहुत सोर्सेज हैं दोस्त, अंग्रेजी के एक आधे ही हैं बेचारे. Yeah. So if a mole were defined to be 3 into 10 to the power 24 instead of the Avogadro number itself, what would be the mass of 1 mole of argon atoms? What would be the mass of 1 mole of argon atoms? It won't be the same, Sarthak. Yeah. Let me write this step by step for you. This question is very important. Let me write this question step by step for you. Okay. I know that 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atoms, yeah, of argon are equal to 40 grams. This is something that I know. ये तो पता ही था अपने को. This is something that we already have in nature. Yeah, that 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atoms of argon are equal to 40 grams. So, what's the weight of one atom of argon? One atom of argon weighs 40 divided by 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 grams. Yeah. Unitary method. Divide both sides with Avogadro's number, you get this statement. Now, what is said over here? If a mole were defined to be 3 into 10 to the power 24. Now, the only thing that you're changing in this question is you're changing the number itself. Yeah. Instead of saying mole is equal to Avogadro's number, I'm saying mole is equal to this new number. I haven't changed nature at all. I haven't changed the fact that this many number of atoms are equal to 40 grams. The only thing I've changed is instead of saying a dozen is 12, I'm saying a dozen is 29. Get the idea? Instead of saying 1 mole is this, I'm saying 1 mole is this now. So how many, how much weight would be for these many atoms of argon? You can calculate. Just multiply with this number on both sides. Yeah. So I can say 3 into 10 to the power 24 atoms of argon will be equal to 40 into 3 into 10 to the power 24 divided by 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 grams. This is your answer. Okay, this is your answer. As simple as that. So how much does this come out to be, people? Approximately बता दो तो भी चलेगा. Yeah, 23 से 24 कट के you remain with a 10. So 40 into 30 divided by 6. Approximately कितना आ गया? 3 into 4 is 12. 2. Approximately 200 grams. Approximately 200 grams, 199 point something आ जाएगा if you do the exact calculation. But yeah, approximately 200 grams. Understood the question now after we've solved it? Yeah. It's just that the definition of mole now, the number we've changed. We haven't changed nature at all. It's just that I'm saying 1 mole is equal to this many now. Okay. Done? Chalo, badhiya. Now the next question that I'm giving you people is a homework question for you and you have to solve this yourself. We will start with this question on Monday at 7 p.m. Beautiful question. Okay. Service Gamer is saying, sir, should I go for a partial drop or a complete drop? Don't go for a drop. Prepare for your JEE this year. Once you get the result, after understanding what your result is, then go for a drop. And if you do go for a drop, I would suggest a complete drop. Chalo. This particular question is a homework question. It's a very beautiful question. It's a homework question. What you have to do along with it is you have to answer it in the comment section down below. Fine. You have to give me the answer in the comment section down below. After the live stream is over, just go down to the comments and answer this. Fine. Second thing that I want you to do in the comments, tell me your favorite flavor of ice cream. Okay. Along with the answer, tell me the favorite flavor of your, the flavor of ice cream that's your favorite. Coolio. Fine, people. So I hope you've taken this down. Anyway, whatever we've done in today's class is the very basic idea behind how to define the mole, how to define the atomic mass unit, and we've been able to apply that to some numbers. We've been able to solve some questions regarding that. This is another question that you need to solve. We'll solve 2 or 3 more questions like this on Monday, and then we will move on to stoichiometry. And once we understand the theory behind stoichiometry, we'll solve more questions of stoichiometry on Monday. Fine. So people, technically speaking, the class is over. Thank you so much for joining in. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to this channel. You can turn on the notification if you want, or you can simply join on the time of the class. And apart from that, if you can share it with just one more friend of yours, it'll be great for us. Yeah. Now I'll take some questions from the chat box, and in the next 2 minutes, I will end this session. Fine. Teen Tuber, that's the plan. Yeah, that's the plan. Nayak MS Chauhan is good for organic practicing. Prasad Singh, is NCRT notes and previous year questions enough for JEE Mains? Nothing is ever enough for any examination, bro. You should do as much as you can. What will you do in the rest of your time? Just make sure you solve as many questions as possible. Okay. BMDA, yes, bro. Moved to Unacademy around 2 months back. Shreyan is asking, what's your favorite? Shreyan, my favorite is chocolate. I like chocolate ice cream. OP Tandon is also good, Nayak. Yes, that's also good. But if you have the means to get MS Chauhan's advanced problems for organic chemistry, it's even better. Yeah. Inorganic ke liye, Tanish, I would suggest a book, either OP Tandon or VK Jaiswal. Both are good. You can take one of them. Okay. Nitpreet, chalo, I hope you're enjoying these classes. Gauri is saying, I want to become an astrophysicist. Can you suggest me some colleges? Bro, to get a specialization in astrophysics directly, it's not possible. You have to do something that's related to physics initially, then do your specialization later in field of astrophysics. So you can go for colleges that offer you branches in pure science physics or engineering physics. Yeah, even mechanical engineering and a little bit of metallurgical engineering would be helpful for your dream. And even if you're in any engineering, you can later on choose a specific specialization. So don't worry about it right now. Just try to get the best college possible. Okay. Harsh is saying LG weight versus Clyden, which is better? I prefer LG weight because I've referred to it in my time. Nayak, the initial part you should do from NCRT itself, then you should try solving the previous year questions of it, and then any book, N-Avasthi is something that I refer to for physical chemistry. Chalo, theek hai doston, that's it from my side. Thank you so much for joining in. I'll take your leave. I'll see you in the next class of this chapter on Monday at 7 p.m. Until that time, take care.